Kailashnath Temple, Ellora. Can you imagine building a structure in a sequence of top first and then continuing down to its foundation? Seems impossible? But Indian ancient builders have already done it. Let's see how, when, and where. Here is a temple, the Kailashnath Temple of Ellora Caves in Maharashtra, the finest example of faith, carving a temple out of a mountain. It is a beautiful and unique temple as compared to the rest of the Ellora Caves. Kailashnath Temple history. This temple was built by the 8th century Rashtrakuta king Krishna I, between the years 756 and 773 AD. There are no written records, no inscriptions of this, though. According to historians, the temple was built in 18 years using the most basic tools, such as hammers and chisels. But in the absence of modern tools, it really amazes historians, archaeologists, and all, how such a wonder can be created with basic tools. Construction resembles Virupaksha Temple in Pattadakal. Legend of Kailashnath Temple. Like for every temple of ancient origin, Kailashnath Temple too has an interesting legend of how and why it was created. The story written by Krishna Yajnavalkya in Kathakalpataru goes like this. When the ruling king fell severely ill, his queen prayed to Lord Shiva that her husband be cured, and in return for his health, the queen vowed to construct a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva. She promised to fast until the shikara, or peak, of the temple, was completed. The king recovered fast, and they began construction of the temple. However, they realized it would take years for the shikara to emerge. Luckily for them, a smart architect/sculptor suggested that by starting from the top of the mountain, he could make the temple's shikara appear within a week. This was a big relief for the queen, who could finish her fast soon. Thus, the temple was constructed from the top down. Architecture details of Kailashnath Temple. The temple is not a constructed structure, in the sense, it is not made of stone blocks, but it is carved out of a single solid volcanic rock. Usually, the foundation is laid first, and then the construction proceeds upwards, layer after layer. But in this case, the construction started from the top and went all the way down. It is called the vertical excavation technique. Kailashnath Temple is recognized as the greatest monolithic structure in the world today. And it is definitely not a cave, please. You will find unimaginable perfection in the curves and emotions of the sculptures. Unfortunately, some of the carvings have worn off and the features aren't as sharp as they used to be. This temple was initially covered with white lime plaster to replicate the snow-covered peaks of Mount Kailash. What a spectacular sight it must have been then. Most of the plaster coating has crumbled off, but even today it looks so beautiful and magnificent. Only some traces of color paintings are visible. Kailashnath Temple mystery. There is a lot of mystery associated with the Kailashnath Temple. The temple is believed to have been built in 300 BC. Those very spiritually inclined tend to believe that a very ancient tool, called Brahmastra, with supernatural powers, was used in the excavation of the hill to construct the temple. Religious people also believe that the inner design and sacred symbols of Kailashnath Temple were done by a sage who could telepathically converse with ancient sages. It is said when mantras are chanted, amidst absolute silence, the sound resonates and vibrates within the enclosure of the temple and its surroundings. You get the rare feeling of being connected with the Vedic cosmos. Probably there is some underlying science to this, but it is not explained yet. Statistics of Kailashnath Temple. The dimensions are 145 feet wide, 195 feet long, and 90 feet high. Kailashnath Temple covers an area twice that of the Parthenon in Athens, Greece. 200,000 tons of rock was removed from the hillock of Sharanandri Hills of Western Ghats, also known as Sahyadri, benevolent mountains, range to carve out this grand temple. The temple was cut out from top to down in a U shape about 50 meters deep. There are 5 shrines inside the Kailashnath Temple complex: Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, and the 3 river goddesses Ganga, Sarasvati, and Yamuna. The main sanctum today has Shiva Lingam placed by Rani Ahilyabai Holkar, 1765–95. Efforts to destroy Kailasha Temple. Yet another among the long list of Kailasha Temple's history and facts is the effort to destroy it. In the year 1682, Mughal King Aurangzeb, who destroyed thousands of Hindu temples, sent 1,000 people to destroy Kailasha Temple. Even after non-stop work for 3 years, they could hardly destroy the temple. They just about managed to disfigure the statues. Finally, Aurangzeb, probably fearing the divinity of the temple, gave up on this task. Another example where the ego of a human is brought down by the deity is the Ranakpur Jain temple. To know what happened during the construction of this temple, watch this video.